Good morning. Another day, another Facebook Live. The screen is spinning, so I'm just hoping it's actually recording. I'm waiting for it to stop spinning. There we go. Good morning. Another, hopefully to be a sunny day. Uh, Big news this week, personally. Some of you, like I said, they've been questioning me about my hair. Yes, I've got a haircut this week, so I'm very happy. Very, very happy. I feel like a human being again. What I wanted to talk about this week was learning to say no, especially in the workplace. I thought about what I used to do in the past, and I've seen many people do as well. They have a hard time saying no when they're asked to take on additional work, take on an extra task while they're being busy themselves. Why do people have the inability or the resistance to say no in these situations? You are busy, you got things to do yourself, you got a lot on your plate, but why do you choose to say yes and let that other person give you this additional work? Why does that happen? At first I think about it's happened. Like I said, it's happened to myself, and hopefully I've improved over time. I'll say I have quite an easy time saying no to a lot of things these days. Probably comes with experience and age. So I did a little thinking. I did a little research as well. That back in the day, in ancient times, that people's odds of survival were much higher in a group than being an individual, right? So being in a group, in a community, a town, caravan, or whatever you want to call it, whatever it was back in the day, people assembled in groups to increase their odds of survival. This meant that they could better chances of hunting for food, gathering or growing food, looking out for each other. There's that component of safety and being social as well, right? Being alone, you're not going to be able to do all these things or do these things well, actually. Being in a group meant that you were going to live, right? But being in a group also meant that if you rocked the status quo, if you challenged the authority or somehow made the group see you differently or dislike you, there's a possibility you could get kicked out of that group. Who knows? If you did something or said something that was disruptive or went against the grain, people could throw you out. And that meant being alone. And being alone, here you go, your chances of survival decreased. It went down. So it's utterly critical for people back in the day to be part of a group. Right? You want to live, you got to be part of a group. Okay, fast forward to the 20th century, 21st century, right? It's 2020. Being a group, yeah, it's still important. But in terms of what we need to do to survive, for most of us, we don't need to go out to hunt for food or have dangers of our having being attacked or wild animals coming at us. The group is still important in this day and age, but not to the extent where our lives could be uh, impacted by it in terms of life or death situations, right? But that instinct or that behavior of saying uh, yes to everything or just maintaining the status quo, it's still there, right? It's ingrained into us. You could even say maybe it's even genetic. Our groups today, from a workplace perspective, your group is your organization, your team, right? Whatever I talk about too is probably applicable outside of that context as well. But today I'm talking from a more business centric or team perspective. Again, back to that question or situation in the beginning. Someone comes up to you, you're busy, they ask you to do something, and you don't want to, but you still say yes. Who's asking you? Well, could it be your boss, your manager, a colleague, even a customer? think you say yes to this because you're afraid of making them displeased with you, right? What if you said no to your boss who's asking you to take on more work? In your mind, are you thinking, this could impact my chances of promotion or make my boss very angry at me and jeopardize my relationship with him, and he can be, give me like bad assignments in the future? What if it's a customer? There's that saying, the customer is always right, which I disagree with. But if some people live by this saying, they want to make sure they're always pleasing the customer, regardless of the cost, right? Cost to themselves mentally, physically, and I'm not just talking about financial cost, right? What if it's a colleague, a friend? You're saying no to their request. It's like, maybe I'm jeopardizing the relationship, that this person may dislike me or think less of me. We have, I think, as a group, as people, that we have a hard time saying no to everything, right? We're just ingrained to say yes, actually. That's what I feel like. It could be yes or no. Again, most of you know I'm not a person of absolutes, like a black and white. But saying yes to accepting work versus saying no to accepting work, right? I'm just using that particular scenario. Saying no is all right, right? So one of the things or the phrases or philosophies that I believe in is that you shouldn't let other people's opinions dictate your life, right? That sure, you risk by saying no to a request that this person dislikes you, and I'm going to say, so what? Right? Does it really matter what that other person thinks of you? If it's your boss, right? Uh, say, let your results do the speaking, right? Is your boss going to really dislike someone who's making him and his team look good? Probably not. What if you say no to your boss and it impacts you think your chances of promotion? Okay, when you learn to say no, there's a way to say it properly, actually, right? It's not as easy as just saying yes or no. If you say no to someone, make sure you build upon that answer by giving options. If you say no to something, there's several things you can do, right? Number one, you can explain why. I recommend not going too much detail, because if you explain too much, say too much, give too much detail, it can result in an argument, right? That you may be perceived as being too defensive. Just give a simple answer. It's like, no, I have a deliverable that I need to make by 5 p.m. today, and I can't help you. This is the number one priority. When you say no, there's also the option of giving the other person options. Right? No, but can I help you at a later time or date? No, but I know another person that can help you. No, but would you accept this other alternative? By saying no with these options, you throw it back onto the other person's plate, right? They have to think it through, right? Not only do they have to potentially decide on choosing one of these options, it's also making them think through their request. Is it really that important or that critical that they need to interrupt you? If you keep saying yes to things, you're putting more stress and more burden on yourself. Sure, that other person's task is important, but you too have a job, right? You have responsibilities, right? Aren't you assigned work that you need to complete? Aren't people relying on you to finish what you need to do in order for them to do what they need to do, right? Are there other people counting on you, like customers or other colleagues, other departments, other teams? Is that request being made to supersede all of these? It potentially could. But those criteria need to be applied and weighed against the request to you. As an organization, as a team, I think one of the ideal things is to provide people guidelines in terms of how to make requests and to make decisions. Simple example, if the organization's mission statement is to um, help all young children obtain an education, and you're working on tasks related to that, and someone comes into a task where they're asking you to being facetious here, go get a coffee. Right? Can you please get me a coffee because I'm really thirsty? Well, how does that weigh in against the organization's mission statement? Is it furthering that? Probably not. Right? So your decision is based on my task, or meeting my organization's or my team's mission statements or guidelines, and this is how I prioritize. Right? Your request doesn't meet that statement or those guidelines, hence I will not give it the priority that you think it is, that you may think it's high, but actually in the whole scheme of things, it's not. Right? And if they do challenge you, this is where you have the right, and you have the justification to defend yourself and say no. Right? If the other people on the management team were to um, disagree with you, then I think there's a larger problem there, right? If the organization is not even following its own mission statements or guidelines, right? So there are situations where you say no because you disagree with what's being asked of you. Right? It could be again something that you feel is immoral, illegal, or something like yeah. That's another decision criterion. Saying no, you have the right to say no. Right? Another situation is um, you do have a right to say no, and you may be superseded by the decision, but you have the right to ask. So you understand. You and everybody else has the right to understand why that decision is being made. So at least can guide your actions, right? So that you understand, you know, why certain things are being done. Like everybody has the right to understand that, right? So always saying no doesn't mean like you're always right as well, right? That whatever decision made can be superseded, right? So I sort of talked about this topic last week, but I felt like it required a little bit more explanation. So it's not just a matter of you going out to say no to everything, but there's a rhyme and reason behind it. Right? Saying no actually helps protect you. Right? Again, if you have too much on your plate, you need to protect yourself. You need to deliver on your tasks, your responsibilities. Right? Saying no is going to protect you in terms of allaying any potential additional stress, right, or workload on you. Right? The more you take on, the less effective you'll be. Right? Like we only have so much time and so much energy to complete everything, right? So no is a bit of a way to protect yourself, to defend yourself against taking on too much, right? Within reason, of course. So to summarize again, it's depending on the context of the situation. You do have the right to say no, but say no with a plan or strategy behind it, right? Give options, give an explanation, right? There's nothing wrong with saying no. Uh, I know it's very hard, that to go against the grain or risk impacting other people's opinions about you. But again, in this case, um, your innate behavior is not helping you, right? Doesn't matter if they think differently just because you say no, right? There could be other ways of going about accomplishing the ask of you, right? Right? No is not the end of the line. Mm-hmm. It, there's I feel like there's no need to be uh, part of the status quo anymore, right? That whatever you need to do it for the well-being of others, for yourself, right? So saying no is okay. All right, that's it for me. Uh, Please visit me on my website, coachhectorwall.com. And hey, there's an opportunity for you to sign up for my newsletter there, and I can send out more information. It gives you, in terms of more materials similar to like this. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or or challenges you would like to discuss and see if I can help you out with, always feel free to contact me. That's it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed what I provided you today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Feel free to reach out to me. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.